there are a certain group of contractors that's going to go after this type of work, and I may seek this for a little while, and then I request a bidders list, and I'm able to see what bidders have picked up or what contractors have picked up drawings that's going to be bidding against me, and I know the ones that are going to lowball it. And if there's not decent money in there, I'll just go ahead and waste that $150 or $200 for that bid package and decline.
Right.
It's the ProfitDig Radio Show. Construction industry news, opinion, and advice.
All right, Jeff, here we are once again, hanging out after hours, because we all have day jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
You got to work for a living.
we do, so we're having another late night meeting, drinking some beer, talking business.
Yep.
We started this business several years ago.
2011.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. So 10 years.
10
we've been
years.
working on this
Yep.
project. We have
But
made little money.
July 4th will be 10 years.
Yeah. This is an all-American company.
Yep.
Started on the 4th of July in Dixon, Tennessee,
Yes,
10
sir.
years ago. Jeff, we have little to show for our efforts here, but why are we still doing this? What are we doing?
Because we believe in it. We believe there's a need, and we wouldn't have as many people visiting our site and signing up as we do if there wasn't a need for it. And, case in point, we have daily sign-ups every day. People are looking for the product we have, and there's a need for it. And the best part about ProfitDig is we are affordable. And, you look at our competition out there that charges thousands of dollars to sign up to get their product. Then you've got to pay a annual fee for maintenance. Then you got to pay a per user fee to get a key to where you can use their product. And it just builds up and builds. You can literally use our system for 15, 16, 17 years for what it costs you for 1 year subscription to our competitors. And we don't have all the bells and whistles they do, but the basis of the thing, we do the same thing they do. And another thing that we do is we offer a job costing app that is not an app, but a job costing portion of this product that is tied to your initial bid. Where if you use our competitors, you've got to pay a fee to do job costing. And some of our competitors, you have to have a whole nother product that you've got to buy, which is thousands of dollars, even the job cost on their site.
So basically, you're saying there are a couple of things that differentiate us in the marketplace. One being our cost.
Right.
We're way cheaper than all of
Yes.
these other, legacy applications that have been around for a long time.
Yes.
But the other is that we are actually an integrated job bidding and costing solution.
Yes.
So why is that so important?
Well, if you're not keeping track of your job cost as a job goes on or a project goes on, I've seen it time and time again. People say, we made 10% on this project. Well, how much did you put in there for profit? We had 15%. Well, no, you didn't. You lost 5%. You didn't. You made some money, but you did not make your target goal. So, theoretically, you lost 5% on that project because you did not hit your mark. And it goes back to finances. Like when you're dealing with, if you don't have the capital and you rely on a bank or a outsource for your capital, then when you give them a projection of work ahead and you show them your projected profits of what you're expecting, then you have lost money because, and they in a sense have lost trust in you because you haven't been able to do the job that you told them you could do.
Okay, so it goes beyond just making more money, but being able to hit those targets you set up in your bids, that affects your ability to get credit.
Yes. Yeah. Because, the way I started out in my own business, I had to take a portfolio and go to my bank and say, this is what work I have on hand that I'm currently doing that's under contract. This is future work that's coming ahead. And that differentiates, what my lending power was as far as how much money I could borrow or, how much I may have in a loan or something, that I may use to just setting aside to work off of, like working capital.
Okay, so how does our ProfitDig system enable that for a user?
Well,
how does it? If I typically make 15, or if I bid a job at 15% and I make 10%, well, how does ProfitDig help me rectify that situation?
Well, ProfitDig, whenever you have your guys in the field and they enter their data as far as like what they do on a day-to-day basis, their time, any materials they may go out and buy out of pocket or use on a company credit card, their equipment time, fuel, whatever they may use, goes into ProfitDig as far as cost. And me being a project manager in the office, when the invoices come in for deliveries, I enter those invoices. And it's entered per bid item. This is the key point. It's entered per bid item. So when your guys in the field are working, they're working on 1 or 2, maybe 3 different bid items at one time. Maybe it's just one bid item. Well, they enter their time and cost for that particular bid item. So at the end of the job, I can look back and see what areas I lost money on. What particular bid items I lost money on. So I can make those corrections on my next future bid, especially on a job that's similar to the one I just finished, and I can make those corrections and get it back to where it needs to be, to where it's a profitable bid item.
All right. Well, how does that differ from the way things have traditionally been done? Before there was a system like ProfitDig that allowed you to record those expenses down to the bid item level.
Well, most people done it on spreadsheets, or they just kind of looked at what the market was and like, well, if somebody can do it for this amount of money, I can do it for this amount of money. And that's what you see a lot of times, especially with smaller contractors, is like, they get desperate for this, for this work or this project, or multiple projects. And they're like, well, whatever your low cost is, I'll match it or beat it. And it's like, it may cost you more to operate. You may have more money going out than what this other company does. Maybe this other company over here, maybe all their equipment stuff is paid for. You've got to allocate enough money into your job to pay for your equipment and plus allow for maintenance and equipment replacement down the road. So, if you are paying a equipment company or paying a bank for equipment that you have purchased or rented, your cost of production may be higher than this guy's over here. So if you go in and try to match his price, I mean, it's a no good situation. You're going to lose money, hands down.
So if you're, like, ProfitDig aside, just in general, if you're only bidding jobs on the concept of you want to beat this guy, you really could be kind of burying yourself.
Yeah.
Like if you don't really understand what your cost structure is.
You've got to forget about the other guy. You've got to focus on what it costs you to run your business or the business you're working for. You got to focus on what your equipment cost is. You got to focus on what your material cost is, your labor cost, so on and so forth. And you got to give a good bid. And then you look at things and you say, well, maybe I can, trim a little bit here, trim a little bit. It's going to be in production. That's the only way you can do it. When you start trimming stuff, it's got to be in like, I may be able to get this many more feet per day in pipe. I'll be able to get this many more cubic yards per production in my grading. Whatever that may be, but you've got to feel comfortable with it. You've got to know what your crews are capable of and how far you can push them, to be able to do that.
So why can't I just do this with a spreadsheet and paper receipts and typing stuff in?
Well, you can, but you're going to take away from your time as far as bidding future projects.
Okay, so that's the thing. A system like ProfitDig, and I guess I think you would agree, Jeff. If you don't want to use ProfitDig, whatever, use something.
Something, yeah.
You need some kind of system,
yeah, so
that you can systematically and efficiently track this information,
yes,
record this information.
Well, and the spreadsheets were good, in the 80s and 90s, back when they first come out, and people were using them on a regular basis. I used Excel for years. That's what drove ProfitDig to where we're at today, because I had took my Excel files as far as I could take them, and I sought out Chris and you, to help me figure out what's the next step. But there again, in today's market, the way contractors are and owners are, and there's multiple, like especially in Middle Tennessee. There's all kinds of work going on. We have bids coming at us every day on, I'm getting 4 or 5 bid requests a day, sometimes more than that. And I want to bid them all, but I can't always do it. I've got to, figure out, which ones are going to be the most likely for us to win, which ones that we can do and do the quickest. And, that's another thing as far as the project manager goes. You've got to be able to figure out what jobs are going to best suit your company and which ones you need to seek to bid that you want to win.
How does that work? Is that a function of your personal experience, or is there something?
Yeah, well, both. I mean, when you've been in the market, as long as I have, just like municipal bids, for instance, there are a certain group of contractors that's going to go after this type of work, and I may seek this for a little while, and then I request a bidders list. And I'm able to see what bidders have picked up or what contractors have picked up drawings that's going to be bidding against me. And I know the ones that are going to lowball it. Okay. And if there's not decent money in there, I'll just go ahead and waste that $150 or $200 for that bid package and decline.
Right. Which in the end will save you a lot of
right. Yeah, because why do I want to spend a week or so, putting 2 weeks putting this job together when I know I'm going to get beat because there's lowballers out there.
So, being an efficient and productive project manager is sort of a combination of having a system
right
to create your bids and track your costs, as well as a general understanding of the market and who you're bidding against and that kind of thing.
Right, yeah. Okay. In some instances, you're not going to know who you're bidding against. If I'm bidding to a particular contractor, they're not going to give me the information, who my competitors are. So, but I have generated a relationship with this contractor or multiple contractors. So I give a decent bid that I know I can make money on, and it's going to be a decent bid for them. They can put their, their markup on and win this job. I mean, it's got to be a team effort. I've got to make money. They've got to make money. And that seems to be a thing now, where you're given a do not exceed price or a guaranteed, like a GMP, a guaranteed maximum price. That seems to be kind of a going thing now, to where general contractors coming in and getting sub quotes, they're giving their owner a guaranteed maximum price up front. They got to find subs that's going to come in at that budget or under budget. Mm-hmm. So, you've got to be able to be in a competitive market, but still be able to make money, and you've got to build those relationships and know what contractors you can do that with, right, that can use you and make money off of you, but you can make money yourself as well.
Right. So, Jeff, I hate to dredge up old bad memories, but I know a number of years back you had a company with your brother and your father, and y'all had some hard times and had to fold. So at that time, if you had some kind of low-cost solution for tracking your job costs, I mean, would that have helped you guys keep going?
I believe it would have, and we saw the need for it. We actually looked into some products, when we saw the need, to track job costs, and because we knew we were losing money, didn't know where it was at, and we checked into some stuff, like Heavy Bid and Hard Dollar and some more stuff, Omen, and it was just more than what we had in our budget. I mean, even back then it was like $5,000 to $9,000. It's even more than that nowadays. So, that just wasn't at this point in time. Maybe it was too late for us or whatever, but we could not afford that. But if something like ProfitDig had been around, we could have put that in place and afford it. Because, literally, we were paying a laborer more in one day's time than what we could buy ProfitDig for a whole month.
So at that time, you could not find anything at a reasonable cost that you could do.
No, and it was all antiquated desktop software. It was like, it was slow to get involved. If I made the purchase today to get that, we're talking probably 3 to to 5 weeks getting it up and going, because I had to have training sessions and everything else. I had to pay for a guy to come down and train me. And as far as I know, it's still the same way. You've got to, and you can't get pricing. You've got to literally like send out emails and everything else to get pricing and almost commit to buying this thing before you can get a good quote. But it was just going to be more than what we could afford. But with ProfitDig, you just go online, you sign up, you choose the option that best suits you. And I mean, if you can't afford anywhere from $100 a month to $500 a month to make sure your business is doing well, then you're probably not doing very well in your business to start with.
Right.
Because I mean, you literally can have ProfitDig for what it costs you to pay your labor 1 day's wages for the whole month.
And so that sort of gave birth to the idea that there needed to be a cost-effective solution that a small operator, a small construction company could use to create professional quality job bids and track their costs directly against the items in the bid.
And that's what drove the whole thing, because I went out at that point and I had to get jobs with other businesses. For the first time in several years, I was out in the job market, and I was trying to find a way, because the people I was working for, they didn't have no way. They had no way of tracking their job costs. And so I knew the importance of it at this point. So that's when I started creating a spreadsheet. And I had a decent spreadsheet, but I got to the point to where I could not go any further. It's almost like I needed more information. I need more calculations. I had taken it as far as I could go. I reached out to Chris, like, Chris, what can I do? This is my options. This is what I need. And he's like, well, I don't really know. He's like, I think, you may want to look into building a website-based, a web-based program.
Yeah, I was there in those early days, and I took the first stab at building this thing.
Right.
Which it was, I mean, man, this is some complicated stuff, as we now know.
Yeah.
Because we've been working on this for years.
Yeah.
We put out version 1, and there's a whole, maybe someday we'll just talk about that whole story, but basically the developer we hired at a high rate, he was a guy out of Nashville, and he built the original version, and then one day disappeared. And so we were like, well, now what we do? So we pushed it out with we didn't know how to work on this thing.
Right.
And it had issues, and it really wasn't. It was not the product that we envisioned. Fast forward a couple years, we finally bring in another partner, Jeff Givens, who is our lead developer now.
Yeah, man, I wish we'd have had him early on.
I do too. It sure would have saved us a lot of effort and heartbreak over the years.
Yeah.
So, not last year. I guess now it was 2019, late 2019. We released version 2.0 of ProfitDig, which is a product that we are really proud of. It is the product that actually finally matches our vision.
Right.
And since that time, we've had a few hundred people sign up for the product, which validates to us that I mean, we knew it anyway, but clearly there is a need in the marketplace.
Yes.
And so that is what ProfitDig is now. We just so everybody out there knows, we are not any kind of VC funded company. We're not in California or New York or wherever. We're based here in Middle Tennessee. The product was envisioned here, created here. This is where we live and work, and to try to build this thing.
Right.
But we're a completely independent company. We've released a product that we believe in, and we think it can help any, at least small to mid-sized construction company operator or owner or manager, be more successful.
But and that's the whole point of is we built this thing because we knew there was a need for the product, but there needed to be a product like this at an affordable rate.
Right.
your major companies, your bigger companies, they're going to buy these HCSSs, these hard dollars, these Omen programs. They're going to buy all these programs because they can afford them, and they've been around for years and years, and so they know they're trusted. Well, with us, we're a new market. We're something new. We're offering something that's web-based. That's another thing. We offer no contract. We have no contract. If you don't like what you get when you get ProfitDig, you can opt out at any time. But the best part is you can opt out and go 5 years down the road and not find anything any better than ProfitDig and want to come back. We still have your information. It's all there. You pay your monthly dues and then you're right back up and going just like where you left off.
When you say your information, you're talking about the actual...
Your bid items, your bids that you've previously done, everything, everything that you've done in your account, it's still there. We preserve it. Because we hope to have you back once you do your research and see, that there's nothing else out there that compares to us as far as a price range, and for what you get, you're going to come back, and so we save your stuff. We never get rid of your stuff. It's there. We can't look at your stuff. We can't see your stuff, but when you come in and you pay your monthly fee, you put your login in, you're right back up in business like you left off.
It's like we like to say, we are made for dirt men, by dirt men.
Exactly.
I also like to say we are made in Tennessee. This is an American company, y'all. So
100%.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jerry. Have a good one.
We'll see y'all.
For more construction industry conversation, subscribe to us at podcast.profitdig.com, youtube.com/profitdig, or go to our main site, profitdig.com.